Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. For today's preview, as the international season finally gets underway in full force, and South Africa taking on Wales tomorrow at Loftus Versfeld, ahead of what is expected to be a packed out 52,000 fans are expected to arrive at Loftus Versfeld tomorrow for what is going to be a record attendance for a South Africa versus Wales game that takes place in South Africa. 1,050 days on Saturday since the last South African game on home soil in front of a crowd. So it's set to be an absolutely iconic occasion in Pretoria, and it is two very good sides that will clash. As the Springboks take on a bit of a nemesis, a side that has had the better of them quite a few times over the past sort of 5-6 years. But the Springboks very much the favourites going into this lineup, onto this team. And if you look at the lineups, you can kind of see why. An immense amount of experience within the Springbok pack and within the Springbok side as a whole. But a very lethal Welsh backline as well. Before we look at the two teams, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. We will be live for this game as well as a select other few international games this weekend, including Ireland versus New Zealand, as well as Australia versus England. There are lots of very good games to look forward to this weekend. In terms of how to watch them, the games, you can go check out our guide, but we do recommend using ExpressVPN and then potentially looking at a broadcaster like Flow Rugby, which is the most cost-efficient way to watch all the international rugby over the next month. You don't have to sign up for multiple months. You can sign up for just 1 month, and you can get all the international action as well as the Rugby Championship if you want to sign up for a few more months, because they will be broadcasting that as well. But in terms of the two teams that will take to the park this weekend, this is how the Springbok side will line up, and it's a very, very experienced pack and a very strong 23, to be honest. And I think that this side kind of shows you the depth that South Africa currently have, because there are so many players that can still come into the side, and yet it is an absolutely incredible pack and 23, really, in terms of the talent at the disposal of Jacques Nienaber and his side. So if we look at the starting lineup, it is Oxenchair, Bongi Mbonambi, and Frans Malherbe in the front row. Frans Malherbe coming back, didn't play too much because of injury last year, but is back in that tight head position. Eben Etzebeth, Luat are the lock combination, and then your loose trio is Siaklis, who captains the side. Franco Masters, who takes up the number 7 jersey once again. No Peter Steph Toy this weekend. He is set to be cleared for next weekend, so we could see a return to the green and gold for the former World Player of the Year. And then Jasper Wiese is preferred at number 8. No Rain Firmino for the series. Quite a lot of players who are vying for that number 8 jersey. Jasper Wiese gets his opportunity this weekend. Now, if you look at this pack, I think the biggest thing that stands out are the amount of caps, because with the exception of Oxenchair, every single player, Oxenchair and Jasper Wiese, every single player in this pack has over 45 caps for the Springboks. So if we go through it, it's Oxenchair with 9 caps, Bongi Mbonambi has 48 caps. So if he wears next week, he'll raise his bat for 50 caps. Frans Malherbe will be playing his 47th match. Eben Etzebeth will be playing his 98th match. Luat is 57th. Siaklis is 64th. Franco Masters is 52nd. And then Jasper Wiese his 12th. So especially in the tight 5, the experience is formidable. It's absolutely incredible. I think that's going to be a massive part of the Springboks game plan this weekend, is just in terms of leaning on that experience in what's going to be a pretty overwhelming occasion with all the fans back in the stadium. If we then look at the back line, Faf de Klerk does partner Elton Jantjies as the former sort of Lions halfback pairing, combined once again for this time for the Springboks. Maxoloma Pimpy, Ches and Colby are joined by Damien Willemse in that back 3, and then Damon De Allende will reignite his partnership with Lekanya in the midfield. A very exciting backline, and also something to be a little bit different maybe with Elton Jantjies slotting at 10. Andre Pollard only arrived with the squad on Sunday, and while Jacques Nienaber said that he was available and he could have played this weekend, he said that they have picked Elton for certain tactical reasons, which could be a little bit of an insight in terms of maybe the Boks doing a little bit of a different sort of tactical kicking game than we might have seen in the past. We'll be very interested to see how the Springboks look to play this year, as they do lean on their traditional strengths, whilst maybe trying to become a little bit more expansive than they were maybe a year ago, given the fact that they have had a lot more time together over sort of the past 12 months. The bench is equally impressive. It's Malcolm Mark, Stephen Kitsoff, Vincent Koch, Salman Murat, Albert Lowe will both get their debuts should they come on later in the match. Then Hershey Yankees, Willie Leroux, Kwaka Smith. It is a 6-2 split, which Wayne Pivak said that the Wales were expecting. Kwaka Smith is the reason that you can go with that 6-2 split, because he can run around the back line if he wants to. As he mentioned in the press conference, he actually made his debut at the wing for the Lions. So a couple of very interesting selections across 23. Damien Willemse at 15 is one that I quite like. I understand that a lot of people are asking for the likes of Warwick Galanti an opportunity or an Apelele Fassi, but Damien Willemse was set to get quite an extended run the 15 jersey last year, and an injury robbed him of his chance. He has been playing some pretty amazing rugby over the past, especially the last 4 months, and they are trying to sort of bring him into that France Day mold, which means he needs to be capable of playing 15, 12, 10, covering multiple positions, and he will get an opportunity to run it out at 15 this weekend. Villaroo is the sort of utility back because he can play in the wing, can play at fullback, and was running at flower half during some of the training sessions. In terms of the team from Wales, this is how they will line up. In the front row, it is Gareth Thomas, Ryan Elias, and Dylan Lewis. They will be backed up by Will Rowlands and Adam Beard, who will both have to have some pretty big games because this tight five is very inexperienced. I mean, if you're looking at Gareth Thomas, who got 10 caps, Ryan Elias, 27 caps, Dylan Lewis, 38 caps, Will Rowlands, 18 caps, Adam Beard, 34 caps. So it's just not quite the same sort of settled tight five compared to the Springboks. Still quite a lot of experience across them. None of them completely new to the international scene. But, it is going to be very important, that tight five battle. And set piece wise, I think set piece battle is going to be absolutely immense, which is one of the reasons that Dan Lydiard has been included in the number 6 jersey. Immensely experienced, coming back from injury. Him and George North are returning to the side. And he'll be next to Tommy Reffel, who will be getting his first cap and appearance for Wales. The Leicester Tigers flanker has been in red hot form, not only this season, but even last season. It's actually touted as potential future Wales captain. He will make his debut next to the likes of Dan Lydiard and Talapo Faletau, who will be playing his 90th match for Wales this weekend. It's a decent pack. I do think the tight five lacks a little bit of firepower to really give the Boks a go. I think that the tight five are going to be on for a long day if the Springboks, especially the Springbok front row, do pitch up. But I think the loose forward battle will be very interesting. I think that Rowlands and Lydiard are going to have to do a lot of work at line time, as well as Adam Beard, in terms of trying to disrupt that Springbok line out, ensure they don't get clean ball and they can't get rolling mauls going. And then I think Faletau, on the back of a very impressive Premiership season, is going to be completely instrumental in anything that Wales do positively on the attack in terms of getting over the gain line. If we then look at the back line, Kieran Hardy gets an opportunity to be in the 12th cap, whilst Dan Biggar, who is already an international centurion, will captain the side at number 10. Josh Adams, Louis Rees-Zammit, Liam Williams, the back three, and George North is back in the side for the first time since the Six Nations back in 2021. He'll play his 103rd international match next to the like of Nick Tompkins, who's coming off a sensational season at Saracens. And I think that if we look at the likes of Josh Adams, Louis Rees-Zammit, Liam Williams, all players who were out on tour last year for the British and Irish Lions, as well as Dan Biggar. And I think whilst Rees-Zammit didn't get an opportunity to play in the test, I think there's a sort of feeling that they would like to sort of really come out and prove a point, especially someone like Liam Williams, who, especially if you watch the Two Sides documentary, was sort of singled out in terms of their pass he could have made, that could have scored a try, that could have won the series, and a lot of regret there. So he'll be one to come out here and try to prove a point and try and prove their worth in a Welsh shirt this time. If we look at the replacements, Dewey Lake, Rhys Kerr, and Thomas Francis. The immensely experienced Alan Jones in a very unfamiliar role for him, not captaining the side, coming off the bench to earn his 151st cap. Josh Navidi, a very exciting player. I think we probably will see him starting quite soon. He is going to be one of those sort of a bit of an ace up the sleeve for Wayne Pieterback, because I think he is a player who can turn a game if he does turn it up. Thomas Williams, Gareth Anscombe, and Owen Watkin are the other backline replacements. Gareth Anscombe, I think, is a very talented player who we haven't always seen the Gareth Anscombe we see at domestic level, at international level. And I think if he can start translating some of the form he has shown within the URC, he can be a very exciting player, but can sometimes struggle to sort of take the next step up when it comes to putting on a Wales jersey. But if you look at the sides, two very good sides. And I think this Welsh backline is very exciting. The question is, will they get front football? Will their pack be able to, front up and allow their backline to flourish? Because it's a very exciting backline. Who could definitely have a go at the Springboks, but it all comes down to that pack battle, which has been the conversation at the various press conferences from both sides or both camps leading into the match. Let me know what your score predictions are down in the comments below. Please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you soon.